right, YouTube, this is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Sunday morning. I hope everyone is doing well. I have a very special guest, and I want everybody to give a warm welcome to this young man. Sir, introduce yourself. Tell everyone who you are, who you work for, and what do you do?
Hi there. Thank you, by the way, and very kind. It's great to be here with you and to know you all. My name is Angelo Peluso from Greenmoon Studio, a newborn studio working both for art outsourcing for RPG games and for our own development games. For example, Nightfell, the role-playing game, which is a setting, an horror fantasy setting, first introduced for 5th edition and any winner into 2022, and also, we are now working on a PF2 conversion for the very new rebirth of this setting.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. So, Angelo goes by the handle of Angie Pop on Discord, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, look for him on there. Nightfell. I didn't know about the 5e setting, to be honest, because I don't follow
Well, the
5e.
still version.
Yeah, I did know about your any award because I get the any emails and stuff like that. So I did see that, and then a buddy of mine on Facebook sent me a link and said he knows I'm into like Pathfinder Second Edition. He knows I like unique settings, and so he was like, "Hey, have you seen this?" So I clicked on the link and I downloaded the quick start, and then I saw it was a Kickstarter, and I was like, "Oh, I'm all over this." So I did back it, much to my chagrin, because I said I swore off I wouldn't back any more Kickstarters, but I did back it. I think I'm
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
I think I'm just getting PDFs though, because well, you can see I don't have
Okay.
much room for books left. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't know. I may have upgraded to the print. I can't remember. Is the Kickstarter's over or is it finishing up?
Yeah. It's over months ago,
Right.
but the late pledge is still open
Okay.
on Baker Kit
And
right now.
I'll try to put a link down in the doobly doo, or you can send me a link via Discord here, and I'll make sure I put it in the show notes. Guys, if you haven't checked out Nightfell, whether you're a 5e guy or a Pathfinder guy, and it would work for any OSR type game, to be honest. It's a very unique setting. I don't want to give too much away, but you can download the quick start off of the Kickstarter page, and it's basically eternally night, and the darkness is winning. And there's werewolves, there's vampires, there's wraiths, there's all the spooky stuff, and it's just a very unique setting. And this amazing young man did a lot of the art for it, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. The art and the writing and the art direction and some of the graphics and the maps.
Yeah. So
Yeah, the
run
tough
it.
times.
So coming off the success of the 5e, because if I remember correctly, going back and looking at it on Kickstarter, it did very well.
Yeah,
Right, and
yeah.
you
In
won an
fact, it's
Annie
like,
Award for it as well, right? What
yeah.
was the Annie Award? Was it for best new module or best art or
Best monster adversary
no?
for one of the modules, the Nightfell Bestiary, which is very strange as a manual because one of the core features of Nightfell is that I wanted to create a different kind of fantasy. Because I'm sorry for my English, but
No, your English is fine. Don't
okay,
apologize. Hey, you're one up on me because you speak two languages. I only speak
okay,
one, so you're winning.
okay.
It's all
I'm going
good.
to.
Molto
And
bueno.
then one of the main features of Nightfall is that I just wanted to create this different kind of fantasy because all we know that fantasy was born from North European lore and folklore, for example, Nordish lore, etc. Tolkien, by the way.
Yeah.
And but since I'm from Italy, I just figured that we have a lot of millennia of folklore and traditions, etc. So why don't we can, I don't know, write some kind of setting, not with elves and dwarves and stuff like that, which is great, but we've seen that. Why don't have something with legends taken from our own folklore? And this is one of the things that I think was very awarded from the Ennis and also from public which is the very core stuff for Nightfell, merged with the fact that we only have an eternal night on the world because the two dimensions, the death one and the living one, collides, and we have focused a lot with moonlights and with moon traditions, some Wicca stuff, which gives this esoteric flavor to the setting, you know?
It's very unique. The art is very evocative of the setting. So when you say Italian folklore, can you give us an example? Like what monster maybe in Italian folklore
Yeah.
that doesn't exist in like say Tolkien or European fantasy?
Yeah, for example, a lot of witches or hags are from Italian folklore. For example, Borda, which is a figure from North Italian folklore, which was used centuries ago just to scare kids to do not go outside with fog in the countryside,
Right. So they come out of
because
the fog.
today, yeah, because today it's cool to go outside as a kid, but in some centuries ago, without any cell phones, any
Right. You
streets,
get
and
lost.
etc.,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lost kid it was a lost kid.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and parents would use. I mean, I'm pushing 60, and I remember my mom vividly telling me, the boogeyman will get you
yeah,
if you don't
yeah,
do
that's
your homework, if you don't eat all your vegetables, if you don't clean up your room,
exactly.
that kind of thing. So yeah, that's where folklore comes from, right? It's
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah. This
traditions
is
of
what
the
I took
past,
inspiration from.
right? So
Yeah.
uh, the art. How much influence did you do all of the art or most of the art in Nightfell?
A lot of the art, but not all of the art. At the very beginning, I was starting all by myself since I do not have any money
Right.
to
Starving
fund
artist.
this. Okay, so I was writing all by myself and drawing, etc. But since I'm into the industry for years now, I've worked as an artist for Monty Cook, Robert Schwalb, Paizo, etc. I have a huge web of connection with
Sure, sure.
people and other professionals. And once they've seen this, we are talking about 4 years ago, uh, and there was less stuff than today into Kickstarter. So there's a lot of resonance into the industry. I don't know why, but okay, I'm glad you like it. So, and a lot of people just joined in and helped me in the secondary development of the project.
Yeah. So you did the 5e Kickstarter. It went gangbusters, did very well. Did Paizo approach you or did you talk to Paizo? Because you have done art for Paizo in the past.
Yeah,
So how did
yeah.
that collaboration come about?
Well, actually, I tried to connect with Paizo since I've not heard them mm, for 2 years now, and they changed a lot of the chiefs inside of them. So I don't know the actual chiefs and directors there by now. But at this very moment, I'm doing it as Raymond Studio by myself, but I'm very willing to talk to them.
Okay, so you're publishing it under the ORC license. So
Yeah.
Paizo hasn't commissioned you to make this setting.
No, no, no.
You're doing it as a third-party publisher. And then
Yeah, exactly. Also because mm, I like the new version of Pathfinder,
same.
but also I would like people to play Nightfell in all the ways they want. So why not?
I think it's an awesome setting, first off. And I mean, all I've had access to is the quick start, but I read it cover to cover. I love the art in it. From the comments on the Kickstarter page, the art is going to be even better in the finished product, which of course is always amazing. How do you find the process of doing Kickstarters? Has it been extremely stressful? You're coming off the heels of a successful 5e Kickstarter. So, how is the Pathfinder? Have you seen the same amount of enthusiasm, maybe on a smaller or larger scale? Or are you just happy that it funded and it's going well?
Well, Of course, I'm just happy that this is founded. So
Yeah,
great, and
I'm
I'm
happy
very
too.
thankful. Yeah, yeah.
I,
I'm really grateful to people, and I love doing crowdfunding because this just connects us with the public and the customers and the players, and we are here now,
yeah,
for
right,
example.
exactly. So
Yeah,
here's what's cool
and,
about it is we have a mutual friend,
yeah, yeah,
Jason at
Jason.
Earl of Fife Games, the designer and writer of Heroes and Hardships. And I don't remember how Jason found me. I think another one of his friends at Arcanium Syndicate or Arcanium Studios or Arcanium, what? I can't remember the name. They make I think it's Demon's Gate. He makes Demon's Gate, and his name he goes by the handle of Rogue on Discord. I think he was friends with Jason. He said, "Hey, you should check out this YouTube. This guy does a lot of support for indie games." Because that's where my heart is. I love helping the small guys. You know, Paizo, Watsy, Call of Cthulhu, you know, those guys are all big established games. They have their own prominent YouTube. They have tons of people that support them. But there's nobody out there supporting Heroes and Hardships or Demon Gate or, you know, Nightfell. And so that's where my niche, right? Everybody has a niche, you know, they fill in.
And this is great.
Thank you.
This is
I've been doing this for, shoot, I don't even know how long it is. 2013, I think I started this. 2012, 2013. I have over 500, almost 600 videos up. Most of it is indie games. There's a couple for Pathfinder or for Dungeons and Dragons for things that sparked me at the time. But you can see I got quite the library.
yeah,
And
and that's professional.
my buddy often teases me the Library of Congress called. They want their books back. But I find it the creative process. You know, anybody that's in this field, right? Whether you create games, you create YouTube, you draw, you write, you're a creative person, and I feel my creativity
Yeah,
comes in YouTube. That's where I used to draw back in school, you know, but I never followed it as a
you
passion.
follow that path.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
wish I would have because I was told I was pretty good at it. But that be that as it may, this is my medium, YouTube, and connecting you with other people. And I'm a small channel. I think I have 1,400 subscribers, right around. But you know what? It only takes one person to start a fire, right?
yeah,
And so your product grabbed me because it was night. It was invocative. It was something we hadn't seen before. You know, the importance of a torch
right.
becomes so monumental in Nightfell, you know, or a lantern, you know, or the moonlight, being able to be out in the moonlight versus in the total dark where bad things can happen. It's just a cool setting. And like I said, I never saw the 5e version because I personally have no interest in 5e. But when I saw that there was going to be a Pathfinder, you know, version, I was like, yes. And so Jason was like, hey, I happen to know Angelo. And I'm like, oh, well, tell him I'd love to interview him. And then, well, here we are. So
You're right.
thank you for blessing me with
Oh,
your
thank you.
time. Um,
Thank you for your invitation.
Oh
I'm
man,
very
it's you can come on
grateful for that.
anytime. We have a very active Discord. Jason's on the Discord. We have a lot of game designers. Stephen Turner from Britannia Games, who also does distribution. So you know, might be someone you want to talk to. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. For European distribution and American distribution. We have a lot of positive. It's a very positive community, but your graciousness to come on the channel and chat with a little YouTuber like me is much appreciated. So thank you. So I have these sets of questions that I ask everybody when I do an interview with them, and we've kind of talked about the Kickstarter, and we'll get a little bit more into that. But one of the questions I always like to ask is, my first one is, obviously you're a game designer and an artist, so you're a creative person. If you could game with anybody, past or present, anybody, who would it be? Famous, non-famous? Just who would you like to sit down at the table with and roll dice or share a story with? Could be anybody.
This is a great question. Of course, Tolkien.
Wow.
That, yeah, definitely
I
yes.
would love to
As a
hear
game
that.
master. as a game master.
You want Tolkien as your game master, or you want a game
Yeah,
master for
yeah.
him?
Why not? You
Yeah,
said
I
anybody.
like it. I think that would be such an amazing because he has such a grasp of European folklore. He made up an entire culture
Yeah.
basically and a language. He was a linguist first and foremost, and then for you to sit there and be able to talk about the Italian, that would be a really neat conversation. I feel so. Great answer, and there is no wrong answer, of course.
Yeah.
The second one is you obviously you're a gamer, correct? You game, you
Yeah,
play.
of course.
What's the one game, excluding your game, excluding Nightfell, because obviously you had a hand in that, but what's the one game that you sit back and you go, damn, I wish I would have wrote that?
Oh, hmm. There are probably a lot, but
You only get one.
well, I
We'd be here
think
all night if we did that.
yeah, I think Numenera,
Numenera,
which
Monty
is
Cook, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
which is probably, in my opinion, set into the legend of the gaming industry. And of course, he won a lot, but also because I think Monty Cook was, from one side, one of the core founders of these middle school and new school of RPGs, and probably also in the very old school,
Yeah.
but he's huge. He's huge as a creative and as a writer and game designer. But Numenera is very unique setting with great art and very evocative. And it reminds me and Moebius, the French artist from the 70s,
Mobius? Yeah.
80s, 90s. Yeah, and
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
I don't know when looking at Numenera, I think that that's kind of a world I want to live in, and this is very very great to me because I'm in love with world building and setting building. So probably Numenera.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. Yeah, and it is a great setting. I'm not a huge fan of the mechanics, but I do like the setting. The Strange, obviously from Monty
Yeah.
Cook as well, is my favorite setting. And then Gods of the Fall. I don't know if you know that one. It's a Numenera. Well, it's built on the
Okay,
engine.
okay, okay. I was confusing with Old Gods of Appalachia, the new one. So
Yeah, yeah. That's an amazing setting where the gods die and basically explode, and you find a piece of their fragment, their essence, and it makes you a god. And you play, that. So that's a really cool. So yeah, great answer. And then the third one, which it always intrigues me because I get the weirdest answers. You're on an airplane, you're taking a trip and your plane's going to crash and you brought one game book with you. You're going to be on an island for the rest of your life. No other people around. What's the one game book you bring with you?
okay, I'm going to say something you're not gonna like probably.
No,
uh,
it's your answer.
Dungeons and Dragons Fourth Edition.
I have the collector's box set over there, the 3 book sleeves, and the
Uh,
Forgotten Realms 4th edition. I
yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah.
liked 4th edition D&D.
Oh, okay.
From
So
from
no,
a GM's
I
point
say
of
that
view, I
because I
loved it.
love this very hated edition, but I've loved them. So
Yeah.
why
I
not?
liked, why I liked it? Because at the time 4th edition came out, I was playing a lot of Savage Worlds, right? From
Okay.
Pinnacle Studios. And Savage Worlds has a rule in it called the Mook rule, Mook, Mook. And that's just like 1 hit point creatures. They're just cannon fodder for the heroes to wade through till they get to the bad guy, right? And 4th edition introduced basically mooks. You had a whole bunch
Yeah.
of kobolds. They had 1 hit point. They had all the abilities that every other kobold has. They just had 1 hit point. It was the mook rule.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so it was phenomenal. And aside from the problems that 4th edition had, I did like the resource management. I liked that you had cards that your dailies and your encounter powers and everything, and you knew exactly where your character stood. So
Yeah.
I liked 4th edition for that aspect. It wasn't, you had to play miniatures, you had to use miniatures with it, you could not do theater of the mind. But that being said, I'm a 3D printer. I print 3D miniatures. I paint miniatures. So
So
for me, it's not a problem because I love
yeah.
miniatures. So yeah, so that's a great answer, man. Going back to Kickstarter and Nightfell, and what's on the horizon now that Nightfell, I assume, is in final production and on a slow boat from China, I assume. Are you printing in China?
I don't know. I used to print in North Europe and in the very first time in Italy. That's all a matter of taxes. That's the
Right,
only problem.
right. Yeah,
So,
yeah. The government's got
but
to get their cut.
yeah, but as long as finances helps me, I would like to have as as a beautiful stuff as possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if this means anything in English, but I hope you understood me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the quality of the book and the art needs to be properly represented. And
Yeah,
sometimes
also
certain
because
printers,
it's very dark, Nightfell, and all the arts are very dark, and the risk is that a cheap printing might occur into a black.
right, the art
Page.
won't come through. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I say, it may cost a little bit more, but, if you have a good printer there in Italy or in the EU that can do the book justice, and you'll get samples before you actually commit to
yeah.
printing. So hopefully that works out really well. I can't wait to see the finished product. How has the process working with Kickstarter been? Have you encountered any bumps or any problems that were detrimental
Yeah,
to the project, or has it been smooth sailing, or a little bit of
yeah.
both?
I discovered that making crowdfunding isn't easy at all,
No.
and no, especially at the very beginning when I just didn't know how to go through the production stuff and all the pipelines that comes from the idea to the products on the
Right.
library.
Conception to
And
reality. That's
yeah,
hard.
because I
A lot
just
of
was
work.
a yeah, I was a small professional working and from commissions to other publishers. And now I am the publisher.
Right.
Okay.
So all the
And
problems are on your shoulders. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And understood a lot of things and discovered a lot of problems, but uh, uh, these do not discourage me because uh, it's kind of a journey, okay?
Uh,
And I'm very happy to see what I was before all of this stuff being began and what I'm now. And I'm not that big. I'm no one, okay? But
no,
I'm
you're
better than I
someone.
was
You're
yesterday.
you're a very talented
Okay,
artist, and never take that away from
thank you,
yourself. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
At least I'm better than I was yesterday. So all this stuff just helped me a lot in matter of personal growth and professional growth. That said, of course, Kickstarter have this issue to me that the marketing stuff. I hate marketing. I'm not a marketing guy, but this is something you cannot ignore.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
which because it's very important and it changes every day.
Right.
The way of making marketing just changes every day. How we did the crowdfunding some years ago is not the same way we do it today,
Right.
and especially because I don't know why, but there are a lot of stuff. If I was a customer, I just don't know what to buy and what to support because there's a lot of stuff outside,
Yeah.
and so it became a bit tough just to understand how to move into this labyrinth.
Yeah. I think, marketing, we're talking about a tertiary market first all. It is
Mm.
an environment that it's not a need to have, it's not a necessity. So you have to get yourself out there in front of people and show them why they should buy your product. Kickstarter doesn't help you. They just put it on the Kickstarter
So I
page.
told.
So marketing is completely up to you.
Yeah.
And there's no venue aside from YouTube. I mean, you can pay thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars to run an ad campaign in a magazine, but there's no
Yeah.
dedicated gaming magazines anymore. Dragon and Dungeon don't really exist. There's a couple of e-zines out there, internet based. Then you could put a small ad in those, but again, that market is so small, you may only get one, two, maybe 10 supporters from that venue, and you've spent
Yeah.
thousands of dollars, So the revenue, the cost, the
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
the purchase to cost isn't there, and then so really game designers, this little niche that you're in relies on word of mouth,
Yeah.
and social media, Facebook, MeWe, Imgur or whatever it is, TikTok, whatever, And like I
Yeah.
said, I found you from word of mouth. A friend told me, "Hey, go look at this. You love Pathfinder. This is the jam." And of course, I immediately fell in love with it. So, but that's a needle in a haystack, right? And that's just
Yeah.
one pledge out of, so it's tough. And
Every single pledge is important,
yes,
especially the loved one.
right. And here's the thing, and I pride myself on the ability to make these videos and highlight the product that said designer is putting out, and hopefully people that watch my video will tell their friends, and their friends will tell their, it kind of grows itself.
Yeah.
And that's a venue, whereas you may not have had that. If it's funny, the 6 degrees of separation, because I know Jason
Yeah.
put me
Yeah.
in touch with you.
That's
You know what I mean? So it's this domino effect that can get big, and I hope for you that it does. Um, do you enjoy the publishing side or the artistic side of it more? Do you enjoy writing or art?
artistic side all the way, all the way.
Yeah,
I
Jason
I
said the
am
same
not
thing.
that businessman. Okay.
Yeah, right. So there's always the joke of lazy artist, right? Starving artist. Do you how do you what's your motivation aside from getting a paycheck? Obviously, clearly that's everybody's motivation, but how do you keep that artistic flow going? When Paizo calls you up and says, "Hey, we want 3 full-page spreads and 6 quarter-page spreads," and you say, "Okay, I can do that." How does that negotiation go back and forth on? I mean, you obviously know how fast you can work. You need information from them of what they want. If they just say we want art, if you don't know the Paizo theme, of their iconics and everything,
Yeah.
how do you go about what's the process? How does your mind say, okay, I'm going to give them a ranger sitting on a branch shooting a bow down at an orc that's below him? Is it a back and forth process with Paizo or whoever the vendor is to figure out
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they want?
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
Usually, yes. And I have the fortune that I was a player and a fan before I was an artist.
Oh,
So I already know all the lore of a lot of games. So you do not have to teach me what a tiefling is, for
right. You
example.
know.
So I already did all my research before, but of course, is a matter of technique and professionalism. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And of course, we are going to chat a lot. I'm going to share all the sketches, do a lot of research, especially for the colors and the structures, and for the you know the how the scenes have to be settled up. So, for example, if we have a multi-characters art or a cover art, of course, I'm going to share you as much sketches as I can. And usually, it depends also to the art director, because some art directors have very clear ideas in mind, and so you are going just forth with that. And sometimes they need to be helped with some visions. So this is up to me to produce something inspirational to them.
Right.
So this is yeah, this is something that goes for some weeks sometimes.
Yeah. Um, so when you what's your medium of choice? Are you a digital artist? Do you do pen to paper, charcoal, paint? Uh,
I'm a digital artist. I studied traditional art, but I use digital art because of the needs of the market.
right.
Um, I know some of my peers using still traditional art,
Right.
but this is something you have to pay a lot for because you can't change a lot of stuff while working with real
Yeah.
paintings. For
Yeah.
example, oil. Once the oil is done, it's done.
Right.
You can say to me, "Oh, I had this idea. Why not to change this color?" You can't.
Right.
So
It's set in
this is
stone.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And if you must, you're going to pay for that.
Right. Because well,
So
time is money. So
yeah,
you're a
yeah,
digital
yeah, but also
artist.
materials.
So you're a digital artist. Are you a Mac or a PC guy? Apple or
PC
Intel?
guy, PC
PC.
guy, but why not the Mac? I just never had it.
Okay. Well, we can't be friends now because I'm a Mac guy. So I'm sorry. I have to end this
Oh,
interview.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm teasing. No, that's really interesting. So yeah, and if it's digital and the client comes back and says, "No, instead of a bow, I want him in with a sword," easy enough to do. Erase, judge
Yeah, yeah.
adjust the
It's
pose.
possible to be done. It is possible to be done at least.
Right, right. And then wow, that's really interesting. So, and I don't think a lot of people know that process and how time consuming it can be. And of course, pen and paper has the advantage of there's always pen and paper, right? And if you run out, you just run
Yeah,
to the store and buy some more, or you go on Amazon and you order it. In
right.
the digital medium, though, if you lose power, your
Yeah,
host, or if your Wacom or whatever digital pad you're using dies, that's
yeah,
thousands of dollars sometimes. Or your
yeah.
pen goofs up. You got to, I imagine you probably have two or three digital pens.
Yeah, this is why at the very beginning I was using second-hand stuff. So
Sure. Yeah. I mean, cost wise, I totally understand.
yeah,
How long have you been an artist for?
a professional or
Just an
a
artist.
passion.
When did you
Uh,
know you had the talent?
I was a very kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are some kids that just start drawing, all of us,
Yeah.
and I never stopped,
Good.
basically.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So yeah, I started with the university
Uh,
when I was 18. But after some years, I just understood that that wasn't my path. I want to create, I want to write, I want to draw, to paint, and I had this RPG stuff in mind because I was very inspired from RPG manuals when I was a kid,
right.
and I just looked at them and I thought I want to be there inside of there, something done from me.
Right. See your name
For
next to
people.
that picture. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
but
you.
it's something more philosophic. I don't know. It's something that I love the idea that someone just watching the book, and because when you look at the books and at the RPG manuals, you use the the illustrations as a form of inspiration for
Right.
your next
Yeah.
character
I want to
and
be
your
that
next.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or if you're a game master, I want to use that monster against my players,
Yeah.
and I want that that kind of inspiration can come from my own art.
Yeah.
This is why I just want to do this.
Yeah. Well, it's a passion clearly, and it shows. So,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. It's like I'm with you. You don't know that, but I'm with you while you're playing.
right, exactly. And you're inspiring me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I downloaded the quick start and I went, oh, I got to back this because art sells books. Let's face it, art sells
Yeah.
books. The words can be amazing, but if you never read them, you'll never know. But the art you can't help but see. So when I downloaded the quick start and I saw the art, I was just like, oh, I love werewolves, I love witches, I love ghouls. I like the things that go bump in the night. But here's the funny part: I'm not a horror fan. I like monsters.
Okay.
I like monsters, but I don't like horror. So
Yeah.
Nightfell gave me I could have the horror if I want it, but I got all the
Esoteric,
yeah, I got all the
deeper.
cool monsters that I want. So yeah,
Yeah.
um, that's amazing. So you don't have to say if you don't want to, but what was your first paid gig? What was the first paid piece of art that you did? Was it a commission for like a kid or somebody, or did a company approach you and say, "Hey, we need you to draw this"? Do you remember?
Yeah. My first commission was from a guy who's having a dancing school, and he needed some backgrounds for the kids' recitals.
Ah,
And
okay.
so he asked me to do some backgrounds telling a storyline. From it was something for Christmas with Santa Claus and something like that,
Nice.
and I did it.
Awesome. And that was your first paid job.
Yeah, yeah,
And when you got that check, did you say, "This is for me, this is what I want to do"? Or did you know that
yeah, 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 yeah. I was just happy to be paid just the draw.
to draw? Yeah, yeah. And that's your passion. So obviously, if you can make money at
Yeah.
it, that is amazing. So Grimm Studios, where do you see it moving forward?
I think I'm going to focus on two different paths, but similar. The one is the art outsourcing stuff. Since I gathered a lot of artists, especially here in Italy, probably have the biggest roster of artists here
Oh,
in Italy, and I just want to find a way to reach as many creators as possible in order to establish connections between artists and creators, publishers, etc., and also to help artists here in Italy, since that's a great profession, but it's also a tough profession
right.
because you do not have any vacation. I don't know. It's especially here in Italy, it's not considered a lot as a real job,
Right.
and
In
so
America too. Don't feel bad. In America too.
okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's not just you. They don't consider artists real, but yet, the gaming industry, is a very fluid industry. And, WotC and Paizo, probably the pinnacle, I would say, is up there too. Very deep pockets when it comes to, they produce a lot of books, they do a lot of art, and so I think there's a market there. What's your advice to a starving young artist, someone who wants to get into the industry? What do you recommend? What's your
Okay.
advice?
To be sure, you just want to start now and to look at your art and consider to study even more. Because if you start your career while you are just good, uh, it's probably a bit tough, especially into this industry, which is not the video games or the movies industry. So there are not that money.
Right.
Okay, so probably being even better. This helps a lot, just climbing and jumping from one step to another even better,
Yeah.
just not to start as I did, which was cool, but you just start with very, very cheap commissions. And for some guys, this is going to be, I don't know how to say, um, this is this can be something that gives you a bad perspective of on the job, because if you start this thinking, okay, I'm going to draw and I'm going to be rich, etc., well, you you will be surprised.
You're gonna be very
It's going
poor.
to be an eye climbing. Okay, so you have um, to to be strong and to be sure you are going to be strong as a professional and as a human to go forth as a freelancer here.
So, have you ever done a commission where the customer came back and said, "No, that's crap. Redo it."
No.
No. So that's a very
No.
good thing. Yeah. So, and that
Okay.
part of that is listening, right? You need to listen to what the customer wants,
Yeah.
right? And so, a lot of problem that and I have a lot of artist friends. A lot of problems that these artists seem to have, and why they don't make it in the industry is they don't listen, right? They my
Yeah.
art is that it's my art. You don't tell me how to draw my art. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
when you're asking someone to pay you for your art and they want an elf firing a bow looking down at an orc, and you give them
Yeah.
a gnome with a blaster shooting at a armadillo, and you wonder why they get upset. So listening to what the customer wants and being able to interpret that, I think, is a key ability for a good artist to
Yeah.
make money.
I also think this is a matter of language, because one thing I noticed is that outside of Italy, especially in US, you use the word artist. Okay, and while for us is artigiano, uh, artisan.
Artisan.
I think
Yeah.
myself as an artisan, like the wood crafters. Okay,
Right, right, right,
so I'm not doing art. I'm doing some a labor
right,
for you,
right. It's
as you would at
work,
a table.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's work. I mean, you're working hard,
yeah.
and whether it's a commission or you're doing something that somebody's asked you to do. So that being said, are you a game master or are you a player or both?
I've always been a game master.
Welcome to my club, my friend. Uh,
Yeah.
so that being said, I can only assume that at your local game table where you GM for your friends, you must have the most amazing character art for your players.
Ah, yeah, of course.
Because that artistic art, that
Yeah, yeah,
urge in you to create, and you've got your player
yeah,
who comes up with a really cool character concept, and you're like,
yeah.
oh my god, that
That's
sounds
fun,
awesome.
and maps. Yeah, and also maps. I
And
love
maps, oh
doing
yeah.
maps for the settings and adventures. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how do I get in your game? So you can draw my character. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I love your energy. I love your positivity. I'm so happy that we had this chance to talk. We will do it
Yeah.
again. After, what
Yeah.
I'd like to do is tentatively schedule with you after the Kickstarter fulfills and you've gotten some feedback from the books, and when I've got my books, let's
Yeah.
sit down again and talk about it. How's that sound? Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also before the release, why not?
Sure. Yeah, and a generate
Definitely.
some hype. Maybe
Yeah,
we can put some pictures up and show people.
of
We have
course.
that ability in Discord and in OBS. We can show some slides and things like that. So I would love to do that because I really think you've got a very I'm going to say it a pardon my French, as they say, a fucking great setting. It is really cool. The art is very evocative, and it just I mean I got goose pimples right now talking about it. It's super cool, and I think it's a setting that doesn't exist out there right now. And I think it's going to do really well. And I'm glad it's doing well in 5e, and I think it's going to do just as well in Pathfinder. So I'm very excited to see the finished product. I do sincerely want to thank you for spending this 45 minutes with me, chatting about your passion and mine, because I love art as well. And I just think guys like you make this world a better place. So thank you,
Oh,
thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You're too kind.
Where can people find you on the socials and stuff? Do you have a website? I know you have a website, but
Well, Green Moon Studio.
Grim Moon Studio. Do you have
Yeah,
Facebook? Do you do Facebook? Do you do
yeah.
MeWe?
Facebook, Instagram, and website.
Okay.
I'm not a social guy, a social media guy.
Right, right,
I'm
right.
a real social guy.
You're so I'm like you. I would rather talk to you than do
Yeah,
Facebook. I have Facebook only because I have a medium that I'm trying to get out
yeah,
there to more people. So I have to have Facebook because it's the number one source. Do me a favor in the Discord chat between us, put the links to all your stuff. And so I'll put that in the
yeah.
show notes so people can find you. Put a link to the Kickstarter as well so that people can go back it on the late backer pledge as well. Maybe, even if it's only one person, that's one more than we had yesterday, right? Um,
Okay.
keep doing awesome art, sir. You are a
I will.
treasure, and
I'm
any
gonna try.
no, you're gonna do it because you do awesome stuff. So don't say try. You're gonna do. Uh,
Yeah.
and then my Discord channel is open to publishers. You are a publisher, so if you join my Discord, I will give you that publisher access, and then you can hawk your wares. If you do commission painting or stuff like that, you can put all of that in there, and hopefully garner you some more business and/or work. That is a service I provide to you guys for being an awesome part of the community. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message and we can talk about it. But I want to thank you for taking the time to chat with me. Is there anything you want to tell your adoring fans out there before we sign off?
Well, yeah, yeah. I'm very, very grateful to the community because something I always said is that it's thanks to the community that we creators are doing what we are doing, and I truly believe that this connection between my ideas and your inspiration is what makes this industry, and I hope this is going to go forth.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think creators like you make it a better place. So we get a playground, we get to play in your playground, so to speak, so you're touching the lives of a lot of people because, when game masters run these settings, I have a group of 5 players in my Saturday night Pathfinder game. And as soon as I get my greedy little hands on the Nightfell book, I'm going to transition them into the Nightfell, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. And I think they're going to enjoy it because they enjoy my GMing style, and I have a little bit of a darker GM style. So I
Really
think the Nightfell
great.
setting, yeah, is really going to kick that up a notch with the bestiary and the monsters and everything, and the setting is going to really. We'll talk offline. I don't want to give away my secrets, but I have a plan to get them into the Nightfell, and it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be over several sessions, but I'll give it away, and then everybody will be stealing it. I'd rather save it and talk about it offline. For those watching this at a later date, which is pretty much everybody, you can reach him in the socials below. Grim Moon Studios is his art house where he's producing Nightfell. It's already out for 5th edition. If you're a 5e player, you can pick it up there. I think you can buy off of your website, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We have a publisher partner, which are some friends of mine, the Mana Project Studio,
Okay.
always from Italy, which are the
Yep.
the fifth edition publishers of
Right.
Nightfell.
In Italy, yeah. So awesome. And
So
then
you
of course,
can reach them or me, and
yep.
some of us are going to throw you a book somewhere
Well, don't throw
around.
it because we don't want to ding the corners. That's a pet peeve of mine. Got to keep the book pristine. And then, of course, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, published under the Orc license, will be out. Do you have a street date yet,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
tentative?
It is on
Because you never want to give a
Kickstarter.
solid date in
It's going
Kickstarter.
to be released into the next year. Yeah, yeah,
2025.
because we are making the conversion for 3 books at the same time.
Right, right.
So
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of because it's already all in
yeah,
5th edition. You've got to
yeah,
convert it
and
to
we also waited for the very new releases
right
at
of
this very moment
Pathfinder Core.
to study that. So
Oh, thank you so much because I love Pathfinder
thank
Core.
you for such a great space you gave me.
Oh, anytime, my friend, anytime. So, everybody, the links to contact Angelo, right? Is it?
Yeah,
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 and your Angie Pop on Discord. so people can send you a message if they want and say, "Oh, you're fantastic. We love you," which you should all do that because he is fantastic. We'll get all your socials and everything in the show notes. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I got to go. I got a brisket in my smoker, so I got to go check it. It's all about the food, man. I can't miss a meal. And
Yeah,
my
yeah,
wife's
nice
taking my
idea.
son to the park, so it's up to me to do the dirty work. Thank you so much, Angelo, for your time. Grim Moon Studios, Nightfell,
Okay.
late backer pledge. Go to Kickstarter, back it. You're not going to be disappointed. The art is fantastic. The words are amazing. You're going to love it. If you don't love it, tell Mr. Mean, and I'll slap myself just for you. Angelo, we're going to end the video, and then you and I will wrap up. But everyone watching, thank you so much for spending the time with us.
Thank you.
As always, peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says to be nice.